Did I hit all the prompts for middle grade March? Welcome back to Pages in Chaos, and here are all the books that I read for middle grade March, the prompts that I used them for, and my rating. So in case you forgot, here's a little recap of the prompts. So the prompts that we had to fulfill this year were travel, a book that was published in 1900, a book that had flowers on the cover, a book that was part of a series, and a book that was by an author with 3 names. So I fulfilled all 5 of the prompts, plus the 2 group reads. So the first book that I have for you is Percy Jackson and the Olympians. I read the first book in the series, and this is The Lightning Thief. So this is where we get introduced to Percy, where he finds out that he is the son of a god, and he gets sent on a mission to track down the stolen lightning bolt of Zeus, because they think, so his friends and the gods think that he was the one who stole it. So I use this for travel because they travel all over the country. They go on different missions and meet up with different people and different gods and all these things to track down who actually stole Zeus's lightning bolt. I loved this so much. This was such an adorable read. I can't believe that I never read Percy Jackson when I was younger. So I will definitely be picking up the next book in the series, and I gave this 4 stars. The next book that I picked up was The Weston Game, and this was a book that was published in the 1900s. So 1978 was when it was published, and I gave this 3 stars. This was just such a fun mystery. I didn't figure out the mystery because, you know, I'm no good at ever figuring out the thriller mysteries and the murder mysteries and things like that. But this was just such a cute and adorable fun read. So this is about Sam Weston, who invites 16 people to the reading of his will to figure out who his murderer was, possibly, and also be the one to inherit his fortune. But of course, he loved games and he loved mysteries, so he set it up as a game with all these rules, and whoever figured out the answer to the game would win the fortune. So I thought this was very fun, and I really enjoyed it. Next up is Lasagna Means I Love You. So this is about Mo, who is unfortunately put into foster care when her grandmother dies and she has no other family. Her uncle, who is the only family that she really has, is in the military, so can't really take on the responsibility of being her primary caregiver, so she ends up in foster care, and it is just so heartbreaking. But she was encouraged by her grandmother to find a hobby, and she finds cooking. And not just cooking, but cooking family recipes. So she goes on this mission to find all of these people's family recipes and the stories that go behind them. So she starts this website and social media, and this is just so adorable, but it is also very heartbreaking. I loved this book so much. I just wanted to take Mo and hug her, but this was just definitely a 5-star read for me. And this has flowers on the cover, so that is the prompt that I chose it for. And if you haven't seen any of my other videos where I just talked about this book, if you haven't picked up this book, you need to do this. This is just so adorable. 5 stars. Next up is Amari and the Despicable Wonders, and I think I actually started middle grade March with this book. This was the first one that I picked up, and once again, 5 stars. So if you've been around for a while, you know that this is one of my favorite series that I have picked up recently. So this is the 3rd book in the series. I'm not going to tell you too much because it's spoilers for books 1 and 2, but Amari has been part of this secret bureau of supernatural investigations. She was invited to be trained as a magician, which is the superpower that she figures out she has. So that all happens in like the 1st book, and there's just like a series of events that leads up to her fighting the Night Brothers and these people that are out to basically destroy the supernatural world. So this was another 5-star read for me, and if you haven't picked up Amari and the Night Brothers, which is the 1st book in the series, you need to do that. And the last book that I have that fulfilled the prompts was Echo by Pam Munoz Ryan. So this was the 3 names for the author. I absolutely loved this book. So if you have been following me for a while, then you might have seen my video where this was my March pick from Krista, who was the booktuber that I chose to pick me a read for March. And I am so glad that she recommended this to me. I gave this 5 stars without a doubt, hands down. So this is about this harmonica that makes its way to 4 different people, and how all of their heartbreaking stories, but then heartwarming stories, all bring these people together. I absolutely love this. So the book starts off with Otto in some time, we don't really know, but we know decades later, the harmonica that he finds makes its way to Frederick in Germany during the 30s with the rise of Hitler, to Mike in Philadelphia during the Great Depression, and then Ivy in California during World War II. So I highly recommend this. This was 5 stars. You need to read this book. And I also forgot to mention, with Echo, you need to not only read the book, but you also need to listen to it on audio, because all of the parts in the book where music is playing from the harmonica or all the other different instruments, they actually play the songs and the music while they are going through the audio and the story. So you definitely need to pick up the audio for that one as well. And then finally, we have the group reads. So this year there were 2 group reads. The first one was The Secret Garden, and this was a nostalgic book and classic. I never actually really read the book. Like, I had skimmed it when I was younger. I have watched the movie so many times though as a kid. So I was happy to actually pick up The Secret Garden. And this is about Mary, who is orphaned, and she goes to live with her uncle, and she finds the secret garden that has been locked up, and she's on a mission to restore it. And there's just so many people that she meets along the way that help her. And I mean, if you have not read this book, you need to read it. It is just such adorable. The garden, like the scenes with the garden and imagining it coming to life in my mind, was just like everything that I envisioned. So you definitely need to read this. This was such a sweet book. I gave it 4 stars. And then I also read the graphic novel of The Secret Garden, which I really enjoyed, and I really loved the pictures, the actual things that were drawn in here. I think it was so beautifully done. I mean, you got the gardens and everything. So I definitely am glad that I was able to pick up the graphic novel while also reading the book as well. And then we have the second group read, which was Moongarden. And this is a secret garden, I guess reimagining would be a better word. I don't want to say retelling, but you can absolutely see everything and make the parallels from Moongarden to The Secret Garden. But this is more sci-fi. So this is taking place on the moon because the plants on Earth have made it too toxic to live. So it's too poisonous. You couldn't live on Earth. So everybody relocates to the moon. Okay. And Myra, I almost said Mary, but Myra finds this secret garden in this classroom one day. So she's in this school and she always likes to cut, and she's just like, you know, not really having it when going to her classes because she doesn't really fit in. So she finds this garden with all of these flowers that everyone thinks is toxic, and that's why it's locked away. And she works on restoring this garden and showing everybody, hopefully, that these flowers and these plants are not actually toxic, and that we can use these and maybe, you know, re-inhabit the earth again. So I absolutely love this. I gave this 4 stars, and this is part of a series. So I believe the second one was Sea Garden. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I definitely want to pick the second book up. And because I got this one in the library, this might actually be a series that I actually buy, because I think that look at that cover, like it's just so beautiful. So I might actually pick up the series and have them on my shelves. Well, those are all the books that I read for the month of March. Let me know down below if you participated in Middle Grade March and what books you read, or if you've read any of these books and you really enjoyed them. You know, as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you made it this far and you're not really in the mood to comment, but you just want to let me know that you are here, then leave me a flower in the comments down below. Any flower is good, just because Secret Garden and Moongarden were our group reads, and I'd love to see that. Well, that's all I have for now. Bye.